I'm very excited to welcome you to this special session organized to herald the formal commencement of the 2021-2022 legal year of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. As we all know, the 2021-22 legal year of the court has long commenced from Monday, the 13th of September 2021. What we're doing today is just in compliance with our age-long tradition of assembling to give account of our performance in the outgone legal year and also confer the rank of senior advocate on deserving senior lawyers in both the advocacy and the academic categories. There is every reason to say that 2020 and 2021 have been very eventful and overwhelmingly panicking too. It is mainly by the grace of the Almighty God that we are all alive to make this new legal year in peace and good health. So many pleasant and unpleasant things have happened, but we are still firm on our feet. In all, we thank the Almighty God for His enduring mercies in our lives. The coronavirus pandemic that fiercely ravaged the entire world in the whole of 2020 had a devastating carryover to 2021 with the ferocious third wave making our hearts to beat at a supersonic velocity. On a rather unfortunate note, I wish to state that the protracted strike embarked upon by the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, Judicial, came with excruciating impact on smooth dispensation of justice, as all courts' activities across the country were paralyzed for over 2 months. The first time to experience such unpleasant occurrence in a very long while. I believe the bitter lessons we learned in the course of the avoidable strike will definitely help us to amend our ways, re-strategize, and forge a more potent front to combat everything or anything that could unleash such unfortunate incident on the nation's judiciary in the future. The executive and legislative arms of government must at all times work closely with the judiciary to make the country way better on the scale of justice, fairness, and equity on all fronts. We, as just one arm of government, cannot do it alone, no matter how much ingenuity we're endowed with. A better synergy by the executive, legislature, and judiciary will definitely present a potent force to combat any untoward situation that could threaten the peace, unity, and the progress of this country. As customary in the Supreme Court, this epochal occasion will be surprised with the swearing in of those senior members of the Nigerian Bar Association who have, in all ramifications and by all standards, excelled in the practice of law and subsequently conferred with the rank of senior advocate of Nigeria. Expectedly, an occasion of this nature calls for great celebration, but even in the midst of that, we must endeavor to spare a moment of time to have a sober reflection and introspection on the journey thus so far. Through the journey, through the rough tide, though the rough tide cannot be convincingly adjudged to be smooth, the good thing is that it has been favorably adventurous, as we have learned so much to guide us through the webs and tapestry of life, particularly our constitutional responsibility of adjudication. In those areas that we have excelled, we have to commend ourselves and as well as endeavor to increase the tempo of the work. While in the areas of obvious shortcomings, we shall do a quick self-assessment and forge ahead with the right mindset and disposition to attain more impactful results. The Supreme Court, and by extension the Nigerian Judiciary, has fared well in the outgoing legal year, even though the horizon was literally roughened by overwhelming challenges. The prayers, admonitions, and support of women Nigerians to a very large extent gave us the courage to remain steadfast and resolute in making a memorable impact on the Nigerian judicial landscape. As this new legal year unfolds, we would like to assure you that we are determined to work assiduously to evolve a judiciary that will remarkably be the pride of Nigerians, home and abroad. As we celebrate this success achieved in the first legal year, we also wholeheartedly felicitate with our eminent legal practitioners who were thoroughly screened, examined, and found worthy in character and practice to be conferred with the highly coveted rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria by the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee. The 2021-22 legal year, which ended on Friday, the 23rd of July 2021, was relatively outstanding, though with rough edges that have to be smoothened in the course of this new legal year. I must say with pride and exhilaration that during the outgoing year, we experienced so many positive, heartwarming developments in the Nigerian judiciary. For the first time in the history of the Supreme Court, we swore in 8 honorable justices to fill the positions vacated by our esteemed colleagues who retired, as well as enlarging the profile of our judicial strength by increasing the number of justices to an all-time high number of 20. That indeed was first of its kind in our history. If for anything, that interesting development has to a large extent increased our adjudicatory capacity and reduced the number of nights we now stay awake as a result of workload. That is also cheering news to the retinue of appellants that throng the court on a regular basis. From the flip side of the events that dotted the legal year under review, I would like to say, rather on a sad note, that we did not have it all rosy, as very unfortunate occurrences belighted our joy and presented some pensive moments to contend with. Very unfortunate as it was, we lost one of our respected colleagues, Honorable Justice Umwali Sylvester Nguta, the ASC Siabarotai. His demise came on Sunday, the 7th of March 2021, just a few days to his well-deserved retirement from the Supreme Court bench, which would have been on Tuesday, 30th of March 2021. It actually occurred while preparations for his valedictory court session to herald his exit were in top gear. That singular event threw the entire judicial community into protracted mourning. To further exacerbate the string of misfortunes, one of our 8 newly sworn justices, Honorable Justice Samuel Oseji, JSC, also passed on after protracted illness. In the wee hours of Tuesday, the 28th of September 2021, precisely 10 months after his elevation to the Supreme Court bench. I humbly have your indulgence to join me in standing up to observe a minute silence in honor of our departed colleagues and acquaintances. May their gentle soul rest in peace. Amen. Still on a very sad note, I must say we were jolted with the embarrassing news of the invasion of the official residence of one of our brother justices, Honorable Justice Mary Peter Audley, on Friday, the 29th of October 2021, by men suspected to be security operatives acting on a search warrant purportedly obtained from an Abuja magistrate court under questionable circumstances. I must make it known to all understanding that we have had rough dosage of such embarrassments and harassments of our judicial officers across the country, and we can no longer take any of such shenanigans. The silence of the judiciary should never be mistaken for stupidity or weakness. By the nature of our work, we are conservative, but not conquered species, and they should not be pushed further than this by any individual, institution, or agency of government. With time, those taking the judiciary as a mere weakling will soon realize that it is from the calmest seas we often experience the fiercest storms. The time to oppress, suppress, and intimidate judicial officers is gone. No one, irrespective of his or her status or position in the country, should test our will, because the consequence of such unwarranted provocation will be too dire to bear. We shall begin to resist any clandestine attempt to silence or ridiculous to oblivion. Nigeria, to the best of my knowledge, is not a lawless society. We should begin to do things that will project us favorably and rightly too to the international community. No law permits anyone to invade, subdue, or overawe any Nigerian citizen in his or her residence with a flimsy, fraudulently obtained search warrant. We are making efforts now to ensure that henceforth every such or arrest warrant must be issued with the knowledge and approval of the Chief Judge of the respective state or Federal High Court, as the case may be. On Monday, 22nd March 2021, our own Honorable Justice Ola Boderos Vivo, JSC Siavar, retired, also took a deserved vow from the Supreme Court bench after offering the very best of his ingenuity and legal proficiency to the service of his fatherland. There's certainly no doubt that we are going to miss him and his invaluable contributions to our jurisprudence. Also, in the course of the outgoing legal year, precisely on Monday, the 28th of June 2021, we swore in for the first time 18 Honorable Justices of the Court of Appeal. The Federal Capital Territory Judiciary also witnessed exchange of leadership baton twice within the space of 1 year. First, Honorable Justice Salisu Garba Abdullahi was sworn in as a substantive Chief Judge, and later in August 2021, Honorable Justice Hussain Baba mounted the saddle as a result of the retirement of the former, who now is the Administrator of the National Judicial Institute. The Corruption and the Financial Crime Cases Trial Monitoring Committee, COMTRIMCO, which was set up in 2018, under the chairmanship of retired Justice of the Supreme Court, Honorable Justice Suleiman Galadima, JSC, CAVAS, to fast-track the trial of corruption and financial-related crime in the country, has been working assiduously with various heads of courts to bring about a significant rise in the dispensation of corruption and financial crime cases in the country. Even with the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, virtually the whole of 2020 and the better part of 2021, a total number of 746 corruption cases were dispensed with. Similarly, the number of forfeited non-cash recoveries made include 51 automobiles, 16 real estates, 11 barges or tugboats, and 2 schools. Between 2nd January and 14th of October 2021, a total number of 1,143 suspects were convicted of various corruption and financial-related crimes, while the number of non-cash forfeited assets has also arisen to include 8 aircrafts, 7 filling stations, 48 real estates, and 149 vehicles, among others. Still within the period under review, various amounts of cash forfeiture were made in millions of naira, but recovered in different currencies ranging from Nigerian naira, US dollars, British pounds sterling, euro, Indian rupees, and to reals, CFA, and the Japanese yen. During the 2021 legal year, the Supreme Court entertained a total number of 681 cases comprising of motions and appeals. Out of these, we had 312 civil, 95 criminal, and 5 political, making a total of 412 motions. Similarly, the court considered a total number of 269 appeals comprising of 139 civil, 102 criminal, and 28 political. A total number of 216 judgments were delivered in the air. To a very large extent, I will confidently say that this scorecard is impressive, fascinating, and appreciable in view of the unpleasant events that dotted the legal year. I attribute the tremendous success recorded by the Honorable Court to the doggedness and team spirit exhibited by our selflessly hardworking, team-spirited brother justices, and the general staff. Even as we celebrate these successes recorded in past legal year in the disposal of cases, all Nigerians need to be admonished on the imperative of being less litigious and be more disposed to alternative dispute resolutions to free the courts of this unnecessary overstretching of both human and material resources. It is not every dispute that must find its way to the court, and it is not every matter that must come to the Supreme Court. Our laws have to be amended to make most appeals to terminate at the Court of Appeal, which is competent to handle such appeals. Now, the court is also equipped, that is, the Court of Appeal is also equipped with the right materials and manpower to adjudicate effectively and resourcefully. It has been said at different occasions, within and outside our shores, that Nigerians are the most litigious people on earth. Ideally, this uncharitable remark should ordinarily give us serious cause for concern. Yet we seem to feel unperturbed about it. And every little disagreement, we rush to court. And in every lost case, especially in the political class, we rush to appeal court, even up to the Supreme Court, no matter how infinitesimal the issue might be. In most cases, the judicial officers are always at the receiving end with fusillade of vitriolic beings heaped on them and even threats to their lives. In every dispute, only one party must win. And winning could come after intense legal fireworks that is transparent, based on subsistent laws of the land, uninhibited legal representations, and the case conferences. It is so funny to see a party that won its case today and praised the judiciary lavishly, but wasted no moment to condemn and castigate the same judiciary when a case is lost the next day. How long shall we continue this way? If we really want to make progress as a nation and collectively build a virile legal framework that will serve our interest to the best of its ability, we must begin to have a rethink. We are not only here to celebrate the new legal year, but to equally speak truth to ourselves and also urge ourselves of most of our wrongdoings and misadventures. The agglomeration of these problems and mindset has largely accounted for several appeals that are currently pending in the Supreme Court. On 15th of June 2021, I issued a new practice direction for the Supreme Court to further fast-track the administration of criminal appeals and the quick determination of interlocutory appeals. It is to be cited at the Supreme Court of Nigeria, computation of time and payment of default fees, Johnson strike period exemption, practice direction 2021. It was indeed a moment of felicitation and remarkable joy when the administration of criminal justice bill, as it was then, was assented to precisely on May 14, 2015. Unfortunately, 6 years down the line, there is really not much to cheer about, particularly in the area of holistic implementation. I must admit that this is indeed a very sad narrative that is not suitable for the ears, to say the least. It's equally sad to note that Nigeria has inadvertently earned a reputation for churning out several laws that are either partially implemented or not implemented at all. The indicating narrative must change from this moment, as I am very optimistic that concerned effort should be made in the bringing to the conference table the various stakeholders in the administration of criminal justice in the country with a view to identifying those notable impediments to the success of most of the laws in the justice sector. It is interesting to note that the administration of criminal justice proposals conversed a merger of the provisions of the two principal legislations, Criminal Procedure Code, CPC, applicable in the southern Nigeria, into one principal federal act with a view to applying it uniformly in all federal courts across the entire federation, and at the same time reserve the subsisting criminal procedures. Even though we see ACJA as a major boost to the criminal justice system in the country, the effective implementation of its provisions, like I stated earlier, has remained a major cog in the wheel of progress. In one of its provisions, for instance, the Act sets time limit for carrying out investigations, arraignment, and prosecutions of criminal suspects. In the same vein, it mandates the police to record every confessional statement offered a suspect to the police in the course of investigation in video, or the statement should be endorsed by a legal practitioner as a way of increasing the incidence of use of force or torture to compel suspects to confess to crimes that they may not have committed. In all sincerity, are we really adhering to these provisions and the general tenets of the Act? We urgently need to conscientize ourselves and do a cursory self-assessment to turn a new leaf, because we cannot keep repeating the same method and expect to get a different result. Nigeria as a country has done too many experiments. That primordial mindset must be changed in order to permit modernization to occupy a place in our hearts. Even with the ACJA, I still will suggest that our entire criminal laws should be thoroughly appraised and updated so that those antiquated aspects that are no more in tandem with modern trends can be changed. This exercise has to be carried out regularly to completely stamp out those obsolete criminal laws that are literally offensive to modern civilization. It is no more secret that technology is fast changing the face of law practice across the world, and we must rise up to face the reality. I do not think we have invested much in legal technology to be counted among the frontline legal practitioners across the world. As it is now right, most law firms have moved from client-facing and the back-office functions to the cloud. An investment in cloud technology is an investment in our future and the relevance of law practice in Nigeria. We must brace up to face the reality of the times so that we will not be sailing against the tide. Our current generation of lawyers is expected to be IT-driven and must be able to effectively communicate and operate in that language globally. Like I said during the conference organized in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State in June this year, by the Nigerian Association of Sectional Legal Practice, MBA, the legal field is no more the exclusive preserve of the law firm, as routine high-volume legal work is now outsourced to alternative legal services providers. If we look around today, we will see that more people are now participating in local, national, and global activism through every available social media platform to effectively push social problems and the gaps to the forefront. I want to use this occasion to call on the executive, the legislature, and of course, we in the judiciary to work assiduously to better the lot of the citizenry. We can achieve more if we work in harmony. There must be some touch of panic and finesse in the way and the manner we handle issues that have to do with the lives and welfare of our fellow human beings. It is the insensitivity of some of our conducts as leaders that have brought us to where we are today. I therefore urge all the stakeholders of the Nigerian project to reconcile with our conscience so that we can begin to adhere and align our actions with its dictates in order to evolve an egalitarian society where everything will be done for the ultimate good of everyone and not a select few. This underlines the operative of making policies and those that are in tandem with public interest. The standards of human conduct, as well as the functioning of government and the government instrumentalities, are tacitly accepted and acknowledged to be for the collective good and order of society, and also for the well-being of the citizens. Anything considered fit and proper for the generality of the citizens should automatically translate to what we leaders should ordinarily choose if we so clearly, though rationally, and acted disinterestedly and impartially. That is the right instrument that we should always be applying in situations involving a conflict of interest or a problem of defending or interpreting broader or longer range consideration against special or more immediate factors. It has to a large extent won acceptance in the context of a functionally differentiated political system and a modern bureaucratized society that is a strong tradition of constitutionalism and rule of law. Permit me to use this medium to call on our esteemed legislature to intensify efforts in making people-oriented laws. In the same vein, the various ministries, departments, and agencies under the executive arm should show more than a passing interest in the general well-being of the citizenry by executing all the laws made without any selectivity, exclusionism, or isolationism. As for us in the judiciary, this is a reminder of the obvious. Interpreting the law the way it should be, and with the fear of the Almighty God at the center of our heart. When all these renewed commitments and efforts are properly harnessed by the three arms of government, Nigeria will surely be better for it, and our national pride would instantly be reinvigorated and eloquently proclaimed to the global community. The task before us as leaders is quite enormous and daunting. We cannot afford to fail our country as all eyes are on us to see how well we can help in the managing and even harnessing our obvious differences and put them into something productive and beneficial for all. The time to sit on the fence is over. As it is often said, the risk of doing nothing can never be an ideal option. The future could only be fair to those who have prepared for it. My lords, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say for the umpteenth time that the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria comes with immense prestige and greater responsibilities as well. Those conferred with the rank automatically become members of the inner bar and revered apostles of the Temple of Justice. It is an honor to conferee. It is an honor no conferee can afford to take for granted. The Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee painstakingly screened and meticulously assessed all the documents submitted by the applicants before arriving at its decision. Even though there is no human system that could be adjudged as infallible, at least concerning the efforts put in place by the committee, I can beat my chest and say boldly that they have done an excellent job. I sincerely appreciate your dedication, commitment, and sacrifice throughout the duration of the exercise. The 2018 guidelines for the conferment of the rank of Senior Advocate in Nigeria require very high standards of merit from all the applicants vying for the award. Every requirement contained in the guidelines was observed before arriving at the final list. The number of applicants for 2021 Senior Advocate Nigeria Award was 159. Out of this number, 119 are legal practitioners and 40 academics or academicians. The total number of qualified applicants after the preliminary screening was 130, comprising of 95 advocates and 35 academicians. After conducting the specified screening and filtration exercises, which included a number of appearances in superior courts, recommendations by honorable justices of the Supreme Court and honorable justices of superior courts, chamber inspection, approval on eligibility and integrity of the candidates from Nigeria Bar Association, body of senior advocates of Nigeria, and of course, the general public. Amongst others, the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee came up with 72 successful candidates who, by all standards, can be regarded as eminently deserving of the rank of senior advocate in Nigeria. Out of this number, 10 are from the academics, while 62 are advocates. This indeed is heartwarming and exciting, particularly for those who have accomplished this remarkable feat. On behalf of my learned brother justices of the Supreme Court, members of the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee, I congratulate the 72 successful senior advocates that have just been sworn in. Your success did not come easy. You have labored so hard for it, so you deserve every privilege, honor, and pride that comes with the rank. The LPPC deserves enough commendation for endorsing the elevation of these 72 legal practitioners who have, by all standards, exhibited professionalism and excellence in legal practice. As senior advocates of Nigeria, you now carry humongous responsibilities on your shoulders. Immediately you step out of this courtroom, your behavior and the general conduct will now be publicly scrutinized by all those who come in contact with you. There's nothing like private life for you anymore, as everything you do or you say will now be thoroughly discussed, analyzed, assessed, and judged in the court of public opinion. Thus, you must watch your utterances, watch your actions, and watch your company, because you already have assumed the role of ministers of the court, as you are now expected to assist the court to attain justice, equity, and fairness in all its ramifications. You must display enormous integrity, self-discipline, high standard of advocacy as custodians of justice. The privilege you are conferred with today does not in any way make you demigods, because humility and self-control are the main tools to engage in weathering the storms of life. Evidently, some senior advocates have become casual visitors to courtrooms, as they now see themselves to be too big to appear in court. This is the time that much is required from you. Our young generation of lawyers needs your mentoring and guidance, while the court needs your presence and support in lubricating the wheel of justice. Most of us here are aware of how tedious the process of conferring the rank of senior advocate in Nigeria and aspiring legal practitioners has been on both the applicants, the LPPC, and the Secretariat. Fortunately, a new era has come, as the Privileges Committee has taken a giant step in pioneering the digital transformation of the legal industry, starting with the SAN conformance process by partnering with a foremost legal tech solution company, Law Pavilion, to automate the application process end to end. Consequently, from 2022, applications for the conferment of the rank of senior advocate will no longer be done manually but digitally. The automation of the process will ensure that the application and the conferment process is seamless, faster, as it will now require lesser paperwork and easier for the Secretariat and the LPPC. The automation will equally make it easier for returning applicants, as they will not have to resubmit documents that they may have submitted in their earlier application. I'm confident that this innovation will certainly put the Nigerian legal industry on the same pedestal as those other advanced countries of the world, where technology has been embraced to make processes faster and more efficient. The Nigerian Bar Association has been very active in the pursuit of justice in this country. The leadership of the association has maintained a mutually beneficial relationship with the bench, and we are not taking that for granted in any way. I enjoy the current executive of the NBA under the able leadership of Mr. Apata to further strengthen the cordial relationship. You must hold the banner of success aloft. I also much appreciate and applaud the two conferences we organized this year on public interest in the legal practice in Ibadan, Oyo State, and in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, respectively. The quality of papers presented and the turnout of participants were quite exhilarating and overwhelming. Two, as our mental appetites were adequately nourished and energized. I urge you to keep leading that noble path of honor and distinction, particularly with our annual bar conference. That is always a melting pot for legal minds. Before ending my speech, I would like to express my warm gratitude and appreciation to everyone that has decided to keep some very important schedules in order to be physically present here today to witness this special session, officially signaling our new legal year. We are immensely grateful to all for according us this great honor and sacrifice, even at the expense of their very important schedules. I also wish to express my appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Master Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Olumide Akpata, Professor Ben Mwaboze, Senior Advocate, who is the Chairman of the Body of Senior Advocates of Nigeria, and of course the spokesperson for the newly conferred Senior Advocates of Nigeria, Professor Wei Ajagbe Toriola, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for graciously accepting our invitation to address this very important gathering. Thank you very much for spending your gracious time with us. I wish you journey message back to our respective destinations. Thank you.